Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Toby.
My name is Heidi.
And we are going to talk about a little, hardly call it a debate, but between Richard Hart, who is the founder of Hex, and Alex Saunders, who is the founder of Nuggets News. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Little freaking blue thing.
There's his friend. Anyway, so what we're talking about today is some drama in the crypto world among some pretty popular, well-known people in the cryptocurrency space. Richard Hart is the guy who's been plagued with, being called a scammer ever since he launched Hex. Got some questionable tokenomics, maybe questionable wallets and who owns them and who actually has power over those coins. Anyway, Alex has been kind of really bashing Richard publicly, and then it got to the point now where Richard actually publicized some of these private messages between him and Alex. What kicked this all off is, despite Alex really talking crap about Richard a lot, he asks Richard for a 20 Bitcoin loan. It's a lot of money, and basically, he named off other people he could have asked, but he didn't want to, so he went to Richard, which is kind of ironic, because,
I mean, what? If you think somebody's a scammer, go ahead and ask for a loan.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, Alex initiated this conversation with Richard and asks him for money. Richard actually pretty politely declines. He doesn't call him out or anything. He's just like, no, I can't do it, sorry. And then Alex keeps trying to, by the way, sorry, all of these tweets all this conversation that we're referencing will be available for you in the video description if you want to read along. Also, there's a live stream coming up we're going to be talking about, and a link for that will also be in the video description for you to watch. I mean, Alex's talking crap game is very strong, but as we'll see in this live stream between him and Richard, he can't really back it up too much.
I had some hope for Alex right there.
Yeah, and actually this conversation is the one that Alex is saying Richard doesn't have his permission to share because it's part of a legal case. It's out there now. And then Alex says, if you decide I'm worth a 20 Bitcoin investment, I will return plus interest. If I don't, you can publicly shame me. And Richard says, would be cool if you said something nice about me publicly, considering. And Alex says, when the time is right. Basically, he's just saying whatever he can to get some money out of Richard, which is really kind of ironic. And then moving on, Alex is trying to give Richard some early access to some cryptocurrency that he's been working on. It just sounds like two scammers talking to each other, to be honest.
It is.
Not that either of them are proven to be scammers, but it's just funny because they're each calling each other a scammer and they're each trying to get something from each other. That's the funny part. So Alex says, are you finally going to face your fears and come on my channel? And right away Richard says, sure, when? And Alex says, soon. And then Alex says, you pay in Hex or Pulse? And what bet do you want to make about Hex or Pulse that I can take the other side of? And Richard responds, what? When he's asking, you pay in Hex or in Pulse? He's like, what? Alex says, when you go on big channels, you give them some Hex, right? I'm willing to bet you own the majority of supply. So right away, Alex hates Hex, but he's willing to accept it as a form of payment. And we'll get into his other argument against Hex and how that's completely ironic. And then now we're moving on when they're actually scheduling these live stream on whose channel they're going to be on. And Richard reaches out to Alex, says, you want to go live? And Alex says, yep. And then Richard says, when you ready? And Alex says, you haven't sent me any Hex.
That sounds so freaking scammy, guys.
If the first one was a joke, this one wasn't. He literally wants to get paid in Hex.
Yeah.
And then Richard said, LOL, why would I do that? And he said, same reason you gave it to BitBoy and everyone else when you go on channels, I guess. And Richard says, I will never, ever give you any money as long as you live. I have never given anyone barely ever at all. And from the rumors, BitBoy received 150 USD, which turned into 60K. Because gains, it's so funny. So the pumpamentals of Hex. And then Alex says, I was happy to give you 50K of my new project token. Like, it's the same thing as Hex. I thought it was just a couple of gentlemen exchanging pleasantries. Like, Alex is kind of out of the crazy. Anyway, so now they're fully talking crap. and by now, Richard, he's like, I want this to be happening on a live stream, not in a private chat. Let's bring this public. Like, I do this for a living. Let's do this right now. And Alex is like, just talking more and more crap to Richard. And then, let's see, for example, Alex says, my wife and 2-year-old are in bed. We have a small home. Sorry, they don't want to hear you cry. And
wow.
And he says, what are your terms and rules? And Richard says, no terms, no rules. I do this for a living, bro. I've never met a question or interviewer I didn't have a great time with. And that, I think, is really representing the frame of mind that Richard is. He's not afraid of conflict. He's not afraid of, presenting his argument. And then Alex says, I'm still a bit shocked you're considering stepping into the ring with me. And then, are you going to answer my questions? And Richard says later on, you're like the dude in the bar screaming, hold me back, bro, hold me back. and so finally, they're going on live, and then they're trying to organize it so Richard goes on Alex's channel on Nuggets News. Alex says, you ready? Richard's like, you need like an hour. And then Alex says, your channel. And Richard says, your channel. So Richard is saying on Nuggets News. And Alex says, I'm not having you on my channel for free to promo your 2 coins. And he says, oh, is that what you plan to do to make me look good? Make my questions look good? Make my creations look good? So then they end up getting on Richard's show for free. And this is when we watched the live stream happen. So now we're talking about Alex, who again has so many times negatively called Hex a scam, Richard a scammer, and he's asking to be paid in Hex in order to have Richard on his channel. And so Richard's like, fine, come on mine, where our audience is all full of Hex people, which, let's say if Alex is actually, this guy on the high horse who's going to save everyone from investing in the scam that is Hex, if it is a scam, which audience would you prefer to be exposed to? Richard's, right? The one who is the diehard Hex community. That's your platform to actually warn the people that need to be warned the most. And what happens?
He gets obliterated. I mean, literally, he couldn't answer. He couldn't get his point across, first of all, in a straight and formal way. He was talking about a couple of his arguments is like, the volume's too low. How are people going to be able to cash out of their coins? And, why would Alex want to be paid in Hex if he knew that the volume was too low, that nobody could ever sell the coins? Secondly, I know people that have invested in Hex that are living incredible lives right now.
Because they sold. He was comparing the market cap of Hex with the low if Hex has the market cap it's claiming to have or whatever, it should have a comparable volume to the other coins that also have that market cap. And his point was that the volume of Hex was so much lower than the coins that are a similar market cap of his. And so, it's a scam because the volume doesn't support the amount of trading needed to have that kind of a market cap.
Exactly. So, I mean, I didn't really learn anything from Alex. I was expecting to see, okay, cool. He's got this list. He's going to go down this list and he's prepared. And this is going to be a great fight. And, like Alex walked in there it's kind of like Alex walking into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fight without knowing any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's like he got his butt kicked. And the thing is, it's like, that's fair enough, whatever. But, I mean, Alex really did this
He put himself out there as being the guy against Hex.
Exactly, but Alex did this space an incredible disservice by going on unprepared. And now people are going to watch this interview and go, wait a second, like, maybe I should invest in Hex because even like the top guy in this space or whatever doesn't know crap about what he's talking about and got obliterated. And I mean, some people are like, well, Richard never gave him a chance to talk. Like, yeah, he did. He gave him definitely a chance to talk, and he was able to bash his argument right then and there every single time.
He only had one point to make.
Yeah.
And when Richard refuted it and he kept bringing it up, that's when Richard he lost some patience and he started getting kind of loud, I guess. But still, it's like, that's all you have? Is that it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not sticking up for Hex, I'm not sticking up for Richard, I'm not sticking up for anybody. But like, if you decide to go ahead and debate somebody and you're going to try to tear down their project or their creation, be prepared to do some battle, man. Yeah. There's no excuses on this, because he should have done his research. He should have watched Richard Hex's videos that he's done in the past, how he might be counterattacked, and been prepared. That's simple. It just seems like he was lazy.
Yeah.
And it also seems like, does he know much about crypto? So I don't know, because that
there were some really simple questions that Richard asked him, and Alex took a long time to answer. Like, the first one that kind of blew me away that he did wasn't a go-to was, when was the better, so Alex got into Bitcoin in 2012, Richard got into Bitcoin in first quarter 2011, and he asked him, so when was the better time to get into Bitcoin? And Alex is like, earlier. He's like, yeah, obviously earlier, but at that time, Bitcoin had the same things going on as Hex. Satoshi had 100% ownership of the supply. There was like zero volume. There was only one exchange that you could buy it on. There was a ton of slippage in the price. There wasn't a lot of volume. And so it's ironic that it's clever of Richard to compare Hex to Bitcoin in that way, because it is a brand new coin. It's like a year and a half old. Again, we're not saying it's not a scam. We're not saying it is a scam. We're staying neutral here, but just seeing two people representing their two arguments, one saying it is, one saying it isn't. One of these people by far explained their position far better than the other and could back it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really hard to watch this whatever debate or whatever it was. I don't even know what you call it. But and also the fact that he won't let somebody on his show without getting paid in Hex. I mean, what a shame, Like, we invite people on our show, like, and we don't expect payments.
No.
Like, no.
It's actually the opposite. If someone wants to pay me to be on my show, I say no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they want to skew your opinion or your views on them, however the conversation's going to go, in their favor, and that's just not honest or genuine.
There's a reason why Heidi doesn't want to get paid or doesn't get paid, because it skews your opinion. It skews your bias.
Yeah.
So, just, I don't know, whatever. I'm not here to bash. I try not to bash Alex on this.
He did it to himself, let's be honest.
Dang, yeah, he did.
He did not look good at all.
Yeah.
Also, if you watch the live stream, as it wraps up, Alex is the one saying, actually, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to get going. And then he starts talking about his paid group, and Richard cuts him off. Because as someone, I would do the exact same thing. As someone who is so consistently talking so negatively about you, and then you have them on to actually flesh it out, and they have nothing actually to back it. There probably is an argument to back up Alex's position, but he didn't bring it to that. So he was just, again, a one-trick pony, repeating the same thing over and over. And then when he realized, like, okay, I'm running out of time, that's all I have to say, he's like, okay, I'm going to talk about my thing and how I make money. No. And then Richard's like, yeah, that's not happening. So he just cut him off.
Now read the tweet that...
And then...
that Alex posted.
Alex posted a tweet saying this: I just exposed Hex on a live stream so thoroughly that Richard Hart cut the stream. This is the first time he has ever cut a video midstream. Thanks to Santiment Feed for the great data that allowed me to expose this fraud. Watch here before he deletes. He's not deleting it because he looks pretty good in that debate and Alex doesn't. So...
I should shut up how I feel about Alex, man.
It's a shame.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, it is a shame.
I don't care like how much you hate the guy of Richard Hart. We've met Richard Hart in person. pretty cool guy. You know,
He's
we talked
super
about.
knowledgeable. He is an OG in the crypto space. Like, he does definitely deserves some respect compared to other people who are legitimately scamming people, just coming out of the woodwork. Like, Richard's been around for a long time.
Exactly, and we talked about citizenships by investments, and he was really interested, very inquisitive guy, very into learning about different things as
Yeah.
well. But, you know, I had respect for him regardless of how I felt about his project. And, you know, I didn't cut down his project. I talked to him like a real person, like he probably wants to be talked to. And that was it, you know? So, and we had a really good conversation about different things. And I don't know if he got the second citizenship, but, you know, we met him in Malta, and he
Yeah.
seemed like a really cool guy.
Yeah.
So-
I actually, if you're interested, I'll put a link up here in the upper right-hand corner of Richard Hart taking on Craig Wright at Malta.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, we filmed that.
Yeah, it sent Craig Wright running off the stage, basically.
So it's good. You know, he's not afraid to debate, and
Yeah.
so anybody that goes up against Richard Hart needs to be an incredibly good debater
And prepared.
and very prepared, not slacking, lazy, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. Like, that was just pathetic.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
also it's almost like Alex is using Hex to have like clickbait stuff. Like, I don't know, I don't actually watch a lot of Alex's videos or pay too much attention to what he's talking about regarding Hex, but it seems like for someone who, you know, if that really was his mission in life was to save people from the scam that is Hex, he would have been much more prepared for that. So because it was so shallow, it seems that he's almost piggybacking off of Hex just to stay relevant or
Yeah.
to have something to talk about.
Exactly. Anyways,
Anyway.
that's all we have to say. We try not to talk too bad about different people, but
It's-
this one needed to be talked about. I think
Yeah.
it's very important. People may think, oh, you're into gossip now. Like, no, this is actually really, really important for future influencers to go and attack, present their argument in a logical, confident way, because people are driven by confidence and leadership. And Alex showed absolutely zero
Yeah.
confidence or leadership in this, and it really did this space a disservice, I think. And so this is just a lesson that needs to be learned, that if you're going to go battle against something that you may think is a scam or you may think is not a good project, be prepared to do battle. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. All right? That's all I need to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, stay disobedient. Don't follow the sheep. Follow us instead, and whoever else. All
We'll
right.
see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.